Weaponized Words by J.P. Lawrence. Hannah Arendt once said, "Men in the plural, that is, men in so far as they live and move and act in this world, can experience meaningfulness only because they can talk with and make sense to each other and themselves." Well, what do I know about making sense? I'm a journalist. Worse, I'm a military journalist, a public affairs specialist, a PR hack for the most powerful multinational corporation in America, the U.S. military. Here I am, the handsome devil himself. I am a soldier fighting on the front lines of a war of ideas and symbols. I fight in a world that would have terrified Hannah Arendt, because our world has so much information that it's easy to hide from whatever you find disagreeable. People are no longer able to talk and make sense with each other, because no longer do they draw from the same reality. They fight with competing truths. Words, ideas, images, they are nothing but weapons in this war. And the first thing you do is tell yourself that you're actually doing good. When I was in Iraq, I was told that we were simply showing the other side. Why show only bad news? Why not show the good, the successes, the passionate soldier, the grateful Iraqi children? Our most powerful weapon was a symbol. Everything was a symbol. Everything was always historic. The first this, the first that. And people were always giving out giant keys. Giant keys might seem silly, but the truth is, people turn to symbols as a mental shortcut. It's so easy to compress this complicated war and decades of history into a single powerful image, like a giant key or Abu Ghraib. Such is the power of the symbol. On some level, we must realize that a single image cannot convey every facet of something, but more viscerally, we demand images. Truth, if it exists, is no match for the power of the symbol. For good or bad, symbols have always been exploited and used as a weapon. The Vietnam War is now seen as a war of symbols, the first television war, where the Tet Offensive, an American military victory, the symbol of inevitable defeat. In a world where Walter Cronkite can cause a war to fail, it only makes sense for the American military to fight back. And so reality becomes a tool, a weapon, and people fight with competing symbols. A car bombing that kills 80 is true for some, and an Iraqi city finally getting power back is the truth for others. Both are true, but neither symbol really captures the full truth, and both sides would rather ignore the other. And so in Iraq, I would go out and get the good news, not the bad, to counteract the other side, and make the truth more fair, more balanced. I wrote uplifting stories. I won awards for writing about soldiers skateboarding and about giving candy to children. But there was a constant grab for credit. Once, I covered a story about a little Iraqi boy, injured from a rocket, and everyone wanted a piece of him, to save him in front of the camera. But the biggest disappointment was when I met a legend, Don Shelby, Minnesota's most trusted network anchor. And when I found out, he wanted us to be his heroes as much as we did. Arendt saw the modern era as a world where people could no longer relate to each other. Once trusted institutions, like the press, are in shambles. And into that void is this confusing mess of competing symbols. And all these symbols represent some aspect of the truth. And people don't know what it all means, so they turn into the void, where a priest-like class of pundits await, ready to tell them what to think. Because in the crossfire of this war of ideas, you need a certain kind of orthodoxy, a kind of body armor against opposing realities. Because people like me throw ever more shit into the whirlwind. But what's the alternative? To accept everything? To accept nothing? Hannah Arendt said that to think today, we must think without preconceived categories and without the set of customary rules which is morality. We must think without banisters, she said. The problem is, there will always be those among us who seek to impose a categorization of the world and provide a banister to help others navigate more safely. And so, the modern world is beset by manipulators of words and thoughts, who use words towards their own whims. People like me.
This is communism. Communism is social ownership. Communism is people working together. Communism is liberation. Communism is freedom.
I nisam dobio ono crno djelo kao što sam ja nekada mislio, nego ovako, u kome sam došao i nekada ću biti dalje.
Well, have you had any administrative meetings about it?
Ja sam imao kolege ovako, mojih godina, da porazgovaramo, igramo se. Kaže, slušaj, zašto ti tu radiš, kaže, tu sluga, kaže, moraš biti tu. To nisi kelner, kaže, kad kelner ti je onaj drugi tamo koji. On pogleda, dobar dan, mali, šta je? Pa rekao, došao sam da učim kod vas. Baš ovako mu rekao.
Okay, so let's talk about the public.
Da učim. Pa dobro, kaže, kako tako koji iz neba po rebra, kaže, ti došao da učiš. Ali pitate te, ja uzmem. Kaže, odakle si ti? Rekao, iz Zagorja. Aha.
How can you be sure?
Znači, ima šanse, kaže, si iz Zagorja. On nije htio, kada sam.
This man's name is Josip Broz Tito. He was the president of the former Yugoslavia and leader of the Communist Party. People say he was the perfect leader for a multi-ethnic nation because his mother was Slovenian and his father was Croatian. He is the man who is credited for unifying Yugoslavs under a common socialist ideology. The socialist revolution in Yugoslavia coincided with World War II and the People's Liberation War. At that stage of the socialist revolution, owing to the betrayal of the Yugoslav bourgeoisie, the Yugoslav working class succeeded through the People's Liberation War in overthrowing the bourgeoisie and establishing its leadership in the system of political power through various forms of people's government.
Znate da kada rimsko-hrvatski ide, ne smije se od pojasa niže primiti nigde, moraš ga pritisnuti na leđa, oba ramena i tako dalje. I ja bio jedan puta pobedio jednog velikog, bio veći od mene za glavu, bricu.
How does that affect your relation to them?
I dao je svaki krunu od nas dva. On je dao krunu u kapu kod ovoga Magupa, sudije, i ja krunu. I ja pobedio onoga tamo, obe krune je uzeo je lopov tamo, one sudija, obe krune. A ja vas sad sretam što sam ga pobedio, ne mislim ja na krunu više. Nije bio mar novac za te. Ja sam zaražio, znate, ja sam ih hodao okolo, ili kasu otvorim, ili otvorim nekog vrata, ili napravim neki ključ ispod žita, tako da ga nametne pisak da ga majstor pare, nego sam ja uzeo pare, onda kupujem knjige.
Tito was loved by all. He was a national hero, an international socialist superstar. He developed a new type of socialist ideology which he claimed was based on a humanist Marxism. He called it self-government. Within this political framework, workers would own all means of production and directly participate in all decision-making processes. This was the new Yugoslav way under Tito's kind dictatorship. He was a gentle man, a true proletariat, a modern Marxist for the Yugoslav people. Yugoslav socialism resonated from Tito's heart. He loved the Yugoslav people like family. He held them together, despite ethnic and religious differences. He was a true national hero. However, even though Tito gave the Yugoslav people his full political attention and compassion, they could not live up to his high humanist standard. He cared too much, and they cared too little. Contemporary Yugoslav socialism ended in economic and political despair.
Good evening. Roosevelt, Stalin, Churchill, Chiang Kai-shek, de Gaulle, Tito, the great Allied leaders of World War II, all gone now.
On January 7th, and again on January 11th, 1980, Tito was admitted to a medical center in Slovenia with circulation problems in his legs. His left leg was amputated soon after due to arterial blockages, and he died of gangrene at the medical center on May 4th, 1980 at 3:05 p.m. It was 3 days short of his 88th birthday. His funeral drew many world statesmen. Based on the number of attending politicians and state delegations, at the time it was the largest state funeral in history. Of those who attended, there were 4 kings, 31 presidents, 6 princes, 22 prime ministers, and 47 ministers of foreign affairs, all from 128 different countries. To je nama naša borba dala Tito, Tito, Tito. Živio nam maršal Tito, Tito, slobodo. Da imamo Tita za maršala Tito, Tito, Tito. Živio nam maršal Tito, Tito, slobodo.
Znao sam samo da je tek nedavno došao sa robije i da treba da bude, odnosno da je kooptiran u Centralni komitet Komunističke partije Jugoslavije i u njegov politbiro.